It won't be one product or a single technique that help to transform your wavy hair. It's the small changes added up over time that make the biggest difference. These 20 things have collectively transformed the condition, appearance and manageability of my fine wavy hair. And a lot of them are really simple changes that you can try straight away. Starting with number 1, styling with lots of water. One of the simplest but biggest changes I made was to make sure I styled on soaking wet hair. The easiest way that I found to do this is shower styling, or my alternative to the bowl method, which is like a side dunk. I'll link some of my favourite routines in the description box. Number 2, waves, not curls. I had to realise and then accept that actually I have a very loose wave pattern, not curls. Once I stopped following routines and constantly trying to make my hair curlier than it naturally wanted to be, and started focusing on what my hair actually needs, my routine became much simpler, much less time consuming, and I got better results that last much longer. Number 3, product layering, leave-in plus oil. This product layering technique has been a real game changer for my dry, frizz-prone hair. I apply a leave-in conditioner to soaking wet hair and then a couple of drops of lightweight oil to help smooth and coat the hair cuticles. You don't need much, especially on fine hair, but that combination really helps to keep my hair in lovely condition, make it feel protected and look a lot less frizzy. Number 4, finding the right shampoo. If I use a shampoo regularly that is too gentle, I end up with product buildup and an itchy scalp. If it's too stripping, then my hair will feel rough and tangled in the shower and usually results in more frizz once it's dry. I now just pick my shampoo based on what my hair actually needs that day, rather than just following the blanket advice that sulfate-free is always the best option. Number 5, learning how to air dry without releasing my inner Hagrid. For years, I just thought I was one of those people that couldn't let their hair air dry, unless I was going for big, floofy, fluffy, frizzy hair, which generally I'm not. What changed was I learned that actually you still need a little bit of product and a little bit of technique when it comes to air drying to get really lovely results. But actually in the summer, it will sometimes deliver me the best natural enhancement for my hair. By the way, I'm keeping these points fairly brief because, well, we've got 20 to cover. But if you'd like more detail or information about anything, then just let me know in the comments and we can either have a chat there or perhaps I need to do a follow-up video. Number 6, stopping curly hair techniques. For a long time, I believed that a successful styling routine meant that by the time my hair was dry, it had a strong cast that I then had to break by scrunching out the crunch. And although this technique clearly works for curly hair, we have now established I don't have curls, I have waves. And honestly, all that scrunching and clapping to break that cast for my fine, fragile hair, I really don't think was ideal. Number 7, silicons, especially amodimethicone. I spent a long time hearing that silicons were bad for wavy hair. My own experience has actually been the complete opposite. They've made my hair feel softer, look shinier and feel more protected. And because I still choose to heat style and have colour treatments, I do find that they help to make my hair feel smoother and much more manageable. Number 8, K18. When my hair was severely damaged, it was K18 that made an enormous difference. It is expensive, but at that stage of my hair care journey, for me the results justified the cost. Now, I no longer regularly invest in K18. I do still use bond repair, I just choose to use a slightly more affordable option, which we will get to. Number 9, evolving how I have my colour done. So I still struggle with this because as much as I love my colour now, I do on occasion still think, oh, maybe I should go just a little bit blonder. But these days I stop and ask myself, is it worth the feeling of rougher hair? I realise that my hair can no longer tolerate the amount or frequency of bleaching that I once had. Number 10, single stylers. Discovering products that give my hair softness, add a little bit of hold and definition, perhaps tame some frizz, has been a real game changer for how I style my hair, especially when I want a natural enhancement of my waves. To only have one product to apply that does everything is just so much simpler. Number 11, no more messy buns with elastic bands. I blame this one on Carrie Bradshaw. I was super guilty of just grabbing the nearest elastic. I don't mean a rubber band, I never quite went that far, but yeah, some kind of elastic, pulling my hair back into some kind of tight, messy bun and wrapping that elastic round as many times as it would go. And then later in the evening, it would be an absolute nightmare to get out. Plus, I'd usually have quite a lot of tension around my face, so I would get quite a lot of breakage. Now, of course, I still wear my hair up all the time, but I'm just much more conscious about what I use and how I do it. Number 12, getting my wash frequency right. This is another rule that I learned from online forums around the curly and wavy hair method. I believe some of the things that I read online, that the more you wash your hair, the drier and frizzier it becomes. Actually, what happened for me was I got a really sore, itchy scalp. I don't think there is a right number when it comes to how often you should wash your hair. It's going to be different for everybody, but finding that balance between not overwashing and stripping and drying out your hair, but not going so long that you end up with an itchy scalp is really important. These days, most of the time, every 3 to 4 days. And to be honest, if I push past 4, my scalp is starting to itch. Plus, my hair also looks crap. Number 13, nighttime protection. Protecting my hair while I sleep has given me way more good day 2 and day 3 hair than any refresh routine I've ever tried. I like to sleep in a bonnet on a silk pillowcase. The bonnet really helps to reduce friction, which will stop my hair getting frizzy, and I just find that I wake up with sometimes even smoother hair than I went to bed with. Number 14, leave-in conditioner. This has become a product I would never skip in a routine. But for me, I'm looking for it to do much more than just add moisture, although that is really important for my dry hair. I love a formula that is going to be multi-benefit. So it's going to help me detangle, add slip, add shine, make my hair feel nice and soft, improve manageability, add some heat protection, and ideally UV protection too. I used to focus so much on styling and hold products, but I've now come to realise for my fine, dry, frizz-prone hair, this is the foundation to a good routine result. Number 15, heatless methods. I just think these are so incredibly fun and versatile. The fact that you can create so many different styles and shapes within your wavy hair using things that you already own. So you don't have to go and drop $600 on the latest Dyson, you just need to pick up your leggings and do some wrapping techniques. And if, like I once was, you're recovering from heat styling damage, it's such a nice way to be able to consistently get similar results to a curling tong, but without the heat. Heatless, versatile, inexpensive. What's not to love? Number 16, Epres. This is the bond repair product that I now choose to invest in as part of my ongoing routine. I prefer the really simple method. I like that you can apply it last thing at night and let it do its thing while you're sleeping, or if you forget, it only needs 10 minutes to work. I also find that although the upfront cost is a little bit more expensive, on an ongoing basis, I find it more affordable. And because my hair is changing with hormones and as I age, plus I do still like to heat style and have colour treatments, bond repair is really still important to me, and Epres is how I've got that covered. Number 17, gentle brushes. This is one thing that I will absolutely thank the curly hair method for, and that is introducing me to the wet brush. This has made detangling in the shower so much simpler and has definitely reduced the amount of damage I do. It's not going to give you super sexy, exciting transformations, but it will really help to reduce the amount of breakage that you get through detangling and working out knots in your hair while you're in the shower. Number 18, protein treatments. Protein is of course completely different to bond repair, and it is such an important part of my ongoing routine. My hair can sometimes, for no reason really, get a little bit frizzier than usual, lose its definition or its structure. And the right protein treatment will instantly give me softer waves that have their structure and their vitality back. My absolute favourite is EVO's Mane Attention. Number 19, revising how I heat style. I did a lot of damage through heat styling. That plus the curling hair method scared me off picking up a curling tong for a very long time. But I do now heat style my hair. I just went on a mission to find tools that I could use on a really low heat setting, and I will never skip out on heat protection. In fact, I actually layer it at different parts of my routine. So it's in my leave-in conditioner. I usually also find that it's in the oil that I use. Plus, I have now most recently found an amazing dry heat protectant spray that I will also apply before going in with a curling tong or a crimper. I love the different styles that you can create depending on the tool that you're using, but also sometimes it just comes down to being more practical with my lifestyle. In the winter in the UK, I don't want to air dry or diffuse my hair. So often I will rough dry with my hairdryer and then use a heatless method or a curling tong. That way I can create different looks, my hair still has shape and definition, but I haven't taken 3 hours to achieve it. And finally, number 20, understanding how hair changes as we age. One of the most important things that I've learned is a routine or product can suddenly stop working for you. And it's not because you've done something wrong. Age, hormones, medication, stress, these factors can all have a really big impact on the texture, density, dryness, and just general manageability of our hair. And once I realised this, I understood that I needed to adapt my routines and my products for the hair that I have now, rather than the hair that I had in my 20s. And if this is something that you're experiencing, you might find it really helpful to watch this video next. Thank you as always for being here. Have a lovely day. Take care. Bye.